Hi friends and welcome to the kitchen. Shall we cook a soup maybe? It's spring, it's summer season actually. Here everything is like one season. It's a little bit hard to distinguish between times of the year. But in the majority of the northern hemisphere, it's the summer season, so you can get access to a lot of seasonal vegetables and fruits. So let's take advantage of this, shall we? And if you do not know how to cook vegetables, this is a very simple recipe. The inspiration for it is from the Forks Over Knives app or Forks Over Knives website, and I'm going to add the link down in the description box below so you can go check it out. But I adjusted it a little bit to my liking and also to suit my budget, because asparagus here, I don't know about you, but here it's quite expensive. As usual, I'm going to link the timestamps in the description box down below so you can just fast forward to the cooking part if you do not enjoy me talk. Let's get straight into it. This is going to be a soup, so preparing ingredients, chopping them up, just do it as you like. I prefer the cubes of the vegetables to be not too large. I was well known for chopping into small pieces when I was a kid. These days I like some of the chunkiness because here we're also using corn. It comes in big chunks. But the rest of the vegetables, you can chop them up however you like them. I also like to slice up zucchinis in different kinds of ways. So here I just chose half circles, but I'm not going to bore you with the chopping process. Here are all the ingredients in their natural form. I'm also going to add a little bit of tarragon. This is the liquid tarragon. This is the brand that I really appreciate for existing. It makes spices taste really nice and have a very distinguished taste in your dish. Unlike dry herbs and dry spices, which sometimes can lose their flavor over time, so typically if you buy them, try to consume them within a year of a purchase, and because it takes time for spices to reach the shelves, and after this it takes time for you to buy them, so the flavor evaporates. And the best spices are usually the spices that you grind yourself, like I'm doing this with my pestle and mortar. This is my new buy. I'm so proud of it. I was on a hunt for it for a little while. A little bit of story time. When I was browsing on it on Amazon, it was coming up, the stone-made pestle and mortar were coming up at prices above $100. This was around $20 or like $15 purchase. And after I got this one, I started finding the things that cost like $20, $10. What's going on there? So here I'm using a blend of spices. Those are different seeds, cardamom, coriander, a little bit of onion and garlic powder, and I'm just like grinding them together. I'm also adding a little bit of black pepper in there to enhance the flavor and bring out some of the aromas of the vegetables which we're going to cook. Use the spices that you like. The best spices are the spices that you use. This is the general principle. As usual, we are going to be cooking in batches. Batch number one is, as you could have guessed it, those are aromatics, onion and garlic. They normally go first, so you saute them in some water, around 60 milliliters, for up to 10 minutes if you want them really soft. But overall, in around 3 minutes, they start becoming really fragrant. Batch number two is going to feature one of my findings, one of my recent findings. Those are cocktail tomatoes, or the bigger cherry tomatoes. I would describe them this way. They're so flavorful, they're locally grown. This is why I really like local produce, is because you get the fresher ingredients. And why is because when the produce is coming from the other country, typically the vegetables are not ripe yet, so they ripen on the shelves, So you get a little bit underripe veggies and especially tomatoes. The closer the location of the farm is to your country, the better it is. As you might know, if some of you are growing vegetables or ever tried a vegetable from the garden, whatever comes right from the soil when it's ripe, the taste is indescribable. But here we are using these cocktail tomatoes, which is my recent find, and I couldn't have been happier. Apart from this, we are going to dice or slice some green beans, around 300 grams. We are going to take a zucchini. You can take a yellow squash, like I'm doing it here. Actually, I'm using a combination. Combine your vegetables because different vegetables, even if those are, for example, bell peppers, this is the same vegetable that has different colors. But the different colors indicate that there are different nutrients, different antioxidants, different vitamins and minerals. So you can take advantage of a bigger variety of fruits and vegetables. We are going to use a corn. It can be either frozen or fresh corn. This corn has been cooked already with some salt, without sugar and without any other additives. It comes in a vacuum pack. I really love this one. I don't know, it reminds me of childhood just so much. I really like the look of it and how it looks in the final dish. We are also going to have some bulgur or quinoa. In my case, this is quinoa. It might be fancy, but if you have celiac disease or if you are gluten intolerant, please do not use bulgur because it's basically a form of wheat. So if you're gluten sensitive, you might want to avoid bulgur and wheat altogether. This is quinoa, so you should have no problems with it. Batch number 3 is going to consist of asparagus. If you have asparagus, I did not have asparagus. It costs like, I think around $20 for like this kind of a bunch. And it's not worth it in my opinion. So I replaced it with some spinach because I like spinach, you know. Also in the same batch we are going to have spices, whichever you like. I would definitely like to add some basil, but it just dried out so fast I couldn't cook it. I was so busy throughout the week, so I had to throw it out. Unfortunately, it wasn't very fragrant after all. I feel really bad doing this, throwing out food, but what can you do? I was really busy throughout the week. So you can use basil, you can use some other herbs or any other fragrant things like parsley, like coriander. And here I'm also using a bunch of spices, which are going to go into the soup in the end of the process. And moreover, of course, we have some lime juice. I'm using lime juice. You can also use lemon juice. It's going to be just fine. Lemon juice is also higher in vitamin C. I'll put a screenshot somewhere around here. But you would like to add something sour in the end of the process, especially if it has vitamin C and if you want to take advantage of it. Vitamin C does disintegrate throughout the cooking process. It's very heat sensitive. Everything is chopped, everything is ready to be added to this saucepan. Choose a deeper saucepan. We are going to use about 6 cups of either veg broth or hot water. I will talk about it a little bit later. I made one mistake during cooking and you'll see me doing it. So choose a bigger saucepan. Think about how you're going to store it in advance as well. So we are starting with the aromatics. As I already mentioned, we are starting with onion and garlic. But I'm bringing around 60 milliliters of water to the boil, and after this I'm adding onions and garlic. Why I'm choosing red onion is because it's higher in antioxidants, and it was also really angry this time for some reason. So I had to cry while making this soup. So we close the lid for around 10 minutes and leave it there to simmer. If it's going to burn, just add little bits of water here and there so it doesn't burn as fast. But overall, yeah, by the way, you don't need to use oil here. it's perfectly fine. But if you do prefer some oil, it's up to you. You can cook your onions and garlic in the oil instead of using water. So now what I'm doing here is something you should do a little bit differently if you want to do it properly. So if you do it properly, you would even want to cook maybe onion, garlic in a separate pan and then add them to the boiling water once it starts boiling. So here I'm adding cold water to onion and garlic, and don't ask me why. It doesn't make any sense. Either use hot water so it gets to the boiling temperature faster, or just use a separate saucepan to bring the water to the boil. Anyway, anything that grows above the ground you would typically prefer to cook in the boiling water. But nevertheless, batch number 2 goes into the saucepan right now, and we are adding everything here. And then just because I didn't use hot water, I had to wait for the water to boil, and after this you will boil the vegetables and the quinoa or bulgur for around 15 to 20 minutes, or until vegetables and bulgur are already soft. And look at how beautiful it is. I think it's so pretty. It looks so colorful. It does look like a fresh harvest soup. It's very light. If you don't want it to be too heavy, you can reduce the amount of grain that you put in, or you can skip it altogether if you just want it to be like a refreshing kind of a very light soup. Batch and number 3 is going in right now. Those are our greens, and you can use leafy greens here, and the spices as well are going in right now. And we're leaving everything to simmer for around 2 to 5 minutes so the flavors fuse together. And look at how pretty it is. I absolutely adore this. It's so simple to make, and it smells so delicious. I swear you will not regret making it. It's a really easy way to eat a little bit of more veggies and to enjoy some seasonal foods. So I hope you liked it, and I hope you enjoyed cooking with me. Please do not make the same mistakes that I did by bringing water to the boil while the vegetables are in there. It's going to make the process a little bit longer. Overall, I would rate this recipe as total 5 out of 5. I'm not a big soup eater. It's 5 out of 5 on the simplicity level. I would omit some ingredients, like the affordability of the soup is pretty high. I would say if you do not include asparagus, it's going to be probably like 4 out of 5. I still had to hunt for some corn and some other ingredients. You still have to hunt for some tomatoes, but if you consider asparagus as a very important ingredient here, I'm sorry, I would give it 3 out of 5, but because I just skipped it, for me it's absolutely fine. Also, I would rate it in terms of being a diverse and versatile dish, which you can amend and adjust based on your needs, and you can include a lot of vegetables in there. You can also go with potatoes, you can also add more squashes. Just keep in mind that you need a little bit of more storage space in the container and a little bit of a bigger saucepan for it. Give it a try and tell me what you think. I will be more than happy to connect with you on my Instagram, which I'm going to link down below. There I'm sharing, I've been a little bit less frequent there, but I'm sharing more nutri tips of how to make the best out of nutrition and how to optimize for your health and what to look for. But just do remember that I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, and you should not take any medical or health advice for this matter from social media, because your health is really important. However, I would like you to be curious and to know what you eat. Also to share cooking with your loved ones, because this is meant to be fun and enjoyed. And if you like this video, please give this video a like, comment what you think about it. And if you're really into it, please consider subscribing to the channel. It costs virtually nothing. but it means a lot to me. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope to see you next week, and you catch you later. I really love it. I'm not a really big soup person, but this is so easy and it has so much good stuff in it. I'm kind of like, I've been a little bit conflicted in the past couple of weeks. I didn't have much time to cook or to eat properly. So this is my fresh start.